we're live.
Is that us? Okay. Hello and welcome to this live chat all about Scotland's Suffrage Education Pack, developed by Protestant Suffragettes and in collaboration with the brilliant minds of Braw Talent. We are super excited to have you with us today. So please do say hello in the comments. It depends on where you're watching, but you can either comment underneath. I think in all of the platforms, you'd comment underneath the actual feed. Is that correct, Darren?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it should come through to us. Yeah.
Great. So Darren will keep us right technically. So please do say hello. And if you have questions already, definitely just start them in there. We'll have 10 or 15 minutes at the end for a Q&A. But first, just to launch right into it, some introductions. I'm T.S. Bell. I'm a socially engaged artist, and I founded Protestant Suffragettes in 2013. I'm here with, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Lydia, who's part of Braw Talent and also the Protestant Suffragette team.
And I'm Darren, who is part of Braw Talent as well.
And it's my pleasure to very briefly introduce Scotland's Suffrage Education Pack and explain very quickly what's in it, a tiny bit of our journey in sort of developing it. And then I'm going to hand over to Darren and Lydia, and they're going to walk us through the digital resources that are part of the pack. So I will share my screen here. And just say that the pack itself includes 7 decks of suffragette trumps playing cards, a bespoke zine, which is titled Rent Strikers and Suffragettes, and I'll show some more images of that a little bit later. And as I mentioned, downloadable teaching notes, so over 50 pages of lesson plans, slides, and worksheets designed by Braw, and that is what we're going to get to in just a moment. But to speak a tiny bit about the journey of how we came about to this point, so Protestant Suffragettes is a creative project which has been going for a long time, always focused on Govan and Glasgow, but during lockdown, we started looking at Scotland's suffrage history and the women who fought for a right to vote, and we ran a crowdfunder, and we raised amazingly, just over £20,000. It was 276, I think, % of our target, with almost 300 individual supporters, including some match funding from Creative Scotland, and that allowed us to develop Scotland's Suffragettes Trumps. Now, for this, we worked with academic advisors and key organizations like Women's History Scotland, advisors from literally every region of the country, and they helped us to nominate activists who fought for Vote for Women and campaigned in every region of Scotland. And we are giving these education packs to schools in every region of Scotland, which we're very excited about. Altogether, within the 100 packs, that is unbelievably, it's 1,000 zines, it's 700 decks of trumps cards, and obviously many copies of the digital resources. I'm almost done, and then I'll hand over to Lydia and to Darren, I promise. I just wanted to say that for myself and other members of the Protestant Suffragettes team, like Lydia and many others who just couldn't be with us, for this exact time slot, we feel really passionately that we want to inspire the next generation of change makers. So, and to do that, we want to provide teachers in Scotland with beautifully designed, dynamic, memorable, and fun resources, which are very robustly researched, so that every single young person in Scotland knows that there were change makers who lived down the road from them, down the street from them, because in our experience, this is an incredibly inspiring and really powerful tool. Okay, so that is me done. I have one last thing to say, and that is, I hope you'll forgive me, but just to point out that we had over 300 teachers and schools register interest in receiving one of our packs, and we have amazingly produced and raised funds to produce 100. So we have taken the plunge, and we are selling individual decks of Suffragette Trumps cards. We're selling the zines. We're also selling these posters, which I'm very partial, but I think they're very beautiful. And that is to enable us to produce more free or subsidized decks. So if you can, you have the option to sponsor a full deck for a school near you, or you can purchase something that will, the holidays are coming, that will help us to produce more free packs. And that I will hand over to Darren and Lydia. Like I said, please don't forget to put your questions in as we go, and I'll hand over to Darren and Lydia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tara. That was great. Hi, we're very excited about launching this education pack that accompanies the suffrage cards. And we're going to share a little bit today about how the pack links in with the slides and how they work together to brings lesson plans alive and how you can apply them to your teaching programs. We've designed this pack around the 4 capacities to have successful learners, confident individuals, responsible citizens, and effective contributors. And we've also linked this educational pack to link in with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the UN Convention of the Rights of the Child, and Curriculum for Excellence, making it really relevant to education now and to learners. The pack is designed so that teachers can adapt it to their own resources and differentiate what's relevant to their learners, and hopefully making it really relevant to your classroom, to your young people. And we're excited to see what you guys come up with and how you use that in your learning. Please give it feedback, any ideas, and we'd love to catch up with what you're up to. We believe by making it be able to differentiate and adapt, it makes it really relevant to both primary schools and secondary schools. And we also think that it would work really well as a resource in interdisciplinary learning, and work across multiple departments, whether it be modern studies, drama, art, health and well-being, literacy, and more. We can't wait to see how you work with other departments to bring these resources to life. The pack is split into 4 key sections: an introduction to women's suffrage in Scotland, learning from suffrage activists, creative interventions, and resources. And we're going to briefly go through some of these sections and the slides that accompany it and see how they work together and how you might want to use these in your lessons. We know the subject matter can bring up sensitive topics, and so we flag these in advance for you to look through so that you can prepare yourself before the lessons and how you might want to tackle these and how they might be relevant, how young people might bring them up, and so you know what to say, so you feel confident with that. So the education pack, we're going to first look at section 1. And the point of this section is for young people, for you to gauge their prior knowledge, both of the suffrage movement, but also of key words and terminology and vocabulary that might be used, and how you might want to, what young people think about it, and how is it relevant both historically and today. So our first activity is a bunch of slides that we've created with different words on them. And this will give you a basis for a discussion and you to be able to see what young people know about it and what they think about it. We've created a KWL sheet, and this is so you can, if it's relevant for your lesson, you're able to track what your pupils learned before, what they want to know, and what they know now. And we would love it if you are using these, if you want, and they get filled out, please send them back to us. We'd love to also see what young people are learning and how it impacts their knowledge, and what they know beforehand and what they know after these slides. The next activity I'm going to look at in section 1 is a timeline, which we love. We think this will be really fun. And we have created like a sheet of different newspaper articles, and pupils get to play detective and find out different events and how that ties into the suffrage timeline and what that looks like. We've created all these resources. But what we're really excited about is how people can adapt these to their own classrooms. So we already know of someone who made a big 3D timeline and played that in that. And that's so exciting, just hearing how you guys are making it your own. And we want to learn from you and vice versa. So we're really excited bringing these to life. Another activity in this first section of slides is a suffragette versus suffragist sheet. And we've given different attributes of a suffragette, a suffragist, and ones they both do. And then we've collected articles from around Scotland of different events that took place. And what we've done is hopefully young people can choose which section, whether they think it's a suffragette or a suffragist activity. But we're really excited about how this links to different geographical places across Scotland and how you might even want to use some of these as basis to go even deeper and look at the activity in your local area, look at what suffragettes or suffragists did in your local area and make it relevant to your teaching and your education. So the next section is section 2, and what we really want in this section is for young people to reflect on the learning that they've done previously, look at what they've learned through the suffrage and through the first section, and then apply it to modern life and society. So we want to give space for learners to make comparisons between what the suffrage movement did and what they do today, consider what injustices are around today in society, and consider what an activist today looks like and how that's relevant to them. And then thinking and comparing it to what can we learn from the suffrage movement and how has it impacted today. So, and how do they successfully promote their cause? So the last section in the second area allows young people to focus on a cause that they feel really passionate about and choose a campaign, something that they want to campaign for, and put the learning that they've done in the first 2 sections into action through different cooperative learning tasks, helping young people bring that to life. So the last section, so once they've chosen their cause, the last section is bringing this campaign to life and helping young people create a campaign that they're able to, that they feel passionate about and bring that to life. So what we've done is for this campaign, we've created a sheet that you guys can print out where they can kind of create the slogan of their cause and create their own mini banner or poster. And we love this because it links totally into how the suffragettes campaigned. And we've got this, and the suffragettes created this brand. They chose these colors: purple for dignity, white for purity, green for hope. And as a creative, I'm so excited that the WSPU is considered to be one of the first campaign organizations to use color and design to create a brand identity, which is awesome. And we hope that these young people can create one for their causes that they're passionate about as well. The second activity in this third section, sorry, a lot of words and numbers, is about designing a zine, which we've created a zine with a local group and community group in Govan, which we're very passionate about. We've put 10 in each activity box to use as inspiration. But we would love to see what zines your young people come up with the causes that they're passionate about. This might get a little messy, which we love, which you might freak out at. I don't know how you feel as a teacher about mess, but we hope that we can create resources that they can cut, rip, fold, and stick, and create a little zine that really speaks about their cause that they can use to help further their campaign that they're passionate about. And again, we would love to see pictures of anything that you guys create and how you guys have put these different resources into action. So that's a whistle-stop tour of just some of the many activities in your zine, in your educational pack. And please, we would love to hear if you guys have any questions or comments that you want to with us.
I'll just start you up.
Okay, So, Darren, do you want to jump in and say anything, or I can share some comments from teachers? But you go ahead first.
I think just to reiterate that it's the pack's just designed to be so flexible. It's not there for you to stick rigidly to what we've provided. It's there as an inspiration, as a starting point for teachers to adapt for the learners they've got in front of them. And again, we'd just love to hear of how the teachers are doing that and how they are adapting it. We are completely in awe of the research that's been done by protesting suffragettes and the various sort of people who have collaborated with them. It's so vast that it's been a real challenge to get through and include it all. We've not getting near it all. This is only scratching the surface. But really what we just want to do is to make that research and that information of the whole subject a bit more accessible to teachers, to make it easier for them to digest and to share with the young people in front of them. So I think it's probably going to be a bit of a process to continue building that and make as much of that information accessible to teachers as possible. So it's a bit of an ongoing process. So any feedback from teachers would be really welcome. I've got a couple of questions here, Tara, as well. I don't know if you've got any in as well.
Yeah, you go ahead. We've got one teacher who's trying to find the Twitter stream and isn't able to locate it. So they were just wondering if it will be available after the fact. And the answer is yes, we will definitely do that. We've got one of our team sort of womaning our accounts, and Leslie, and she very kindly is trying to help sort that out. But that's the only one that I've got. I've got others, but you go ahead.
Okay, I've got one
Darren.
from Carly B in Western Bartonshire, and it says, how do we get a pack? I think probably that's one for you, Tara, if you want to take that one.
Sure. So we had a call out between February and June this past for schools to register interest. And that's where we had, like I said, almost or just over, I think, 300 schools and teachers register interest. As I'd mentioned, we've raised funds to produce 100 packs. So we had a kind of an excruciatingly difficult, decision-making process, which Braw kindly helped us to do. And we could talk more about, how we went through that if that's of interest. But the long and short of it is we're selling individual decks of cards and posters, as I mentioned, so that we can subsidize and produce more packs. The other way that you can get a pack is to purchase a pack on our shop. I'll just put that link up. So our online shop is brand new. We've not been a group of people who've ever really been selling things before, but we're moving towards a social enterprise. So sorry, I have to share my screen, don't I? Apologies. Oh no, have done. There we are. The other thing that you can do is purchase a pack direct from our shop. So the shop is linked from our website and from our socials if you look in our bios. And the resources themselves can be bought separately as well. And I think schools, especially if the price that we have is a little bit out of reach, please contact us, because our heart is really for everyone who wants them to have them. So I don't know, Lydia, if you want to say anything else about that, but that's our goal. So.
Okay, there's another question here from Jordan. Are these only for social studies teachers? I think, Lydia, you touched a wee bit on that. Do you want to just reiterate that?
Yeah, yes. I think we're really passionate about interdisciplinary learning, and we've designed these packs that they can work in that format. So no, we've given packs to art departments, to English departments, to feminist clubs. We've given them all across lots of different areas in schools. So no matter what activity you're from, I think this is such a relevant subject that you can use it in your area.
There's another question here. Are the resources available separately? Tara?
Yeah, so they are. You can buy a single deck. You can buy a set of 3 decks of cards. You can buy the zines separately. We don't have the downloadable resource up on our shop as a separate item, but we do plan to do that as well. Because as you've seen, the slides are amazing. The activities and lesson plans are amazing. So we're trying to make it all as kind of as within reach as possible, I think is the thing to say. So.
Okay. There's two more questions, kind of the same question, I guess. What are you talking about in your next stream, and are you doing this again, another stream? So, Lydia.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've noticed, but we conveniently missed out our section 4 of the educational plan, and we're going to really focus in on the resources because, like Darren said, we've just scratched the surface of all that's available on this topic, and we've got a whole section at the end just dedicated to how this could be relevant to your topic and grow. How you could use these resources for many more lessons to come. So we're going to look at that specifically next talk, which is on the 7th of December. Yeah.
Exactly 2 weeks from today.
Exactly
So
2 weeks from
same
today.
time, same location. Also, to be fair, we'd be happy to hear your feedback now or later on how this worked. It sounds like at least a couple of people couldn't find it, so we'll need to sort that out. But I think it's easily available on YouTube and Facebook, and maybe there was like we said, there was at least one person who was looking for it on Twitter. Twitter hasn't done live streams for very long, have they? So, or at least, you know, I'm not cool enough to be aware that they've been doing it for that long. So I think there might be a little bit of that type of you know, wrinkles as well, just people not knowing where it is. I have some feedback from some of the teachers who've already received packs. Would it be useful for me to share some of that? Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So we'll maybe just do like a little bit of feedback about a hires class who used the trumps cards first, and then we'll go to the teachers, I think, because they work well together. So I think the thing to say about the young people's responses to the cards is that they almost always mention that it's fun and that it helps with memory. Those are the two things that come up quite a lot. So you can see here the different, you know, people, students liking the information on the women, that the story, that it was a unique way of learning. But there's a lot of comments about revision, about learning statistics, and about, so very good for revision as you're seeing the cards repetitively. That comes up quite a lot. And also, I think there's one more. So, and a lot of comments about how fun it is. And quite a lot of learners enjoy the competitive element. I think that's important to point out. That also gets mentioned quite a lot. So those are sort of the kind of headlines of the reactions that we've had so far. Look forward to hearing more, though. So please do let us know, because obviously we're dead keen. But to move on to some of the teachers' comments, so we've been shipping the packs out literally only for the last 3 weeks. So it's kind of important to point out that you know, we said at the very beginning, we want these resources, all of them, to be as plug and play as possible. And I think I'm hoping that this initial feedback shows that we might be achieving some of that. So I received the pack from a school last week. The lesson outlines and resources look fantastic. The trump cards are brilliant, and the first time I have seen such a range of Scottish females remembered or even named for their protests. Yes, us too, for the record. Us too. We received the pack here in the history department, and it was a week, week past when they sent this. We've already used some of the resources to complement the delivery of our National 5 era of the Great War course. The pack has been helpful. All the resources are of really good quality. Thank you for that. Thank you for putting this together. And then some more specificity. I think if we have time, do we have time for just a little more?
Yeah.
Okay. Due to the timing of receiving the pack, I've already been able to use the cards within S3 as a way of gathering information on the campaign methods for Scottish suffragettes. I was really excited to read that, and well done, Braw talent, Darren and Lydia, for making that so super clear. These were great, as it was quite a challenge to find some of the information when I was carrying out resource for lessons. Sorry, that's a typo there. And the last one, I think I've heard this from teachers on other occasions, but this is the first kind of that I've seen it in commentary. I don't know about yourselves, Darren and Lydia, but it's really lovely to see information on these women. The SQA and the Education Scotland often dictate to teachers what pupils must know, but don't actually provide teachers with a list of examples or any of the information that we're expected to teach. To have this actually given to us in a way that is not on a web page is amazing. People certainly do not need any more time online, so this is just a great alternative. Yeah, so I'll just put those links up. And then the booklet itself, the rent strike booklet, I've heard from a bunch of different teachers that they're quite good as part of national class because the rent strikes are covered. And, you know, obviously that's key to the booklet. So I'll just put that link up again. Do we have any more questions?
There's no more questions came in just now, but I think, again, just to everyone that's tuning in, you can get in touch with Protestant Suffragettes, you can get in touch with Braw Talent and all the social media platforms, on emails. If you have got other questions, we'd love to hear them. We can sort of answer them the next stream we do in 2 weeks' time. So do keep them coming in.
Great. Okay, well, listen, from all of us and also the whole Protestant Suffragettes team, because there's a large team of us. They're just all working or busy today, but maybe we'll get some of them to say hello for the next one in 2 weeks' time. But for all of us, and just really thanks to Darren and Lydia for walking us through that. It's been an absolute joy and a total privilege to be working with you on this project. 100%, and so inspiring to be learning about all these histories and also to be working with such creative people in the process. So we hope that you'll all tune in next time, and we'll hear from even more folks next time in 2 weeks on the 7th of December, 4 p.m. Yeah?
Yes, 4 p.m. So December. Can't wait.
Great. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.